Hey friends, welcome back to Fridays here on Donkey Wonks. Today I decided that I would film a story time. I was hired to be a hitman. I used to be a cyberstalker.
I have history of vandalism.
Face reveal.
I am actually Scooby-Doo from Mr. Incorporated.
I don't know how these titles work. Now, this really isn't your typical really dramatic and clickbaity story time. It's just kind of a story from my really early teen years, I guess. Yeah, I was 13 at the time. I asked my friends if they thought it was worthy of a video, and they said yes, but obviously we all think it's pretty funny. But I decided that I would tell it anyway because it's actually a story that I didn't tell for years. To kind of set up the story, basically, one of my best friends, still to this day, we used to go to middle school together, and we'll call her Jenna. And she had a crush on this kid named Kyle, okay? And Kyle had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. And I mean long-term for, obviously, middle schoolers. But anyway, so Jenna and Kyle had crushes on each other, and they decided that they wanted to date. This was the summer going into, like, my 8th grade year, maybe. Anyway, so Jenna then decides to go on vacation. While this is happening, Kyle is kind of mingling with his ex, the long-term ex, and we'll call her Sophie. So Sophie and Kyle are kind of rekindling this romance while Jenna is away on vacation. So whenever Jenna gets back, Kyle shoots Jenna a text and says, "I'm breaking up with you and I'm getting back together with Sophie." So for whatever reason, although their relationship lasted maybe 2 or 3 weeks, this really hurt Jenna. And obviously, this is still my mindset to this day. But if you hurt one of my friends, then I'm hurt, or I feel bad and I want to do something for my friend. And I was angry. I didn't really like Kyle or Sophie anyway, and so I wasn't a big fan. So we decide, Jenna and I, that we are going to get some
Revenge.
we decide that we want to TP Sophie's house. The conflict of this story that these rising actions have led up to, we don't know where she lives. So this is where I come in. I become the Nancy Drew of the cyber world, okay? I'm gonna find out where this girl lives. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So I guess the real start of the story starts with Ask FM, which I don't know if any of you remember that or if it was popular where you guys are from, but whenever I was in middle school, it was a social media where you could ask anonymous questions on like a forum, and then they would answer them if they wanted to. They weren't always all answered. I asked Sophie who she lives with. I don't know if her parents are divorced. I don't know the situation, so I'm just trying to feel it all out, you know. She says she lives with her 2 parents, her brothers, and like she details her pets or something. So then a little bit later, I ask what her dad's name is. And so she tells me her dad's name, which keep in mind, this is all anonymous, and so like kind of stupid on her, maybe she deserved it. So then at this point, I kind of take to Instagram, Facebook, and there was this Instagram picture. If any of you knew who I was talking about, I'm sure you would know this picture because I literally feel like it's probably like
The most liked picture in the 7th grader.
it is this picture of Sophie, that is her name, and a bunch of really popular kids all in front of this basketball goal and her garage. If you weren't invited, like you weren't cool or whatever, there was like 15 kids. Kind of irrelevant, but at the same time, it does kind of help later on in the story. On Instagram, you can see like where their locations were when they took pictures or like a general vicinity. So I know she lives in my hometown because the picture is located like in the same area as me. So I know that she lives in this city. I know what the back of her house looks like, and I know her dad's name. So with that information, I start getting on Facebook, searching her dad. I find his phone number on his Facebook, and so I type in Google his name and his phone number, and it pulls up an address. This is like the single hit in my mind that maybe I found, the gold mine. So I take that address and I type it in to Google Maps. Lo and behold, I zoom in all the way and I see this basketball goal, this infamous basketball goal. I text Jenna, that's her name. I text Jenna and I'm like, girl, I think I found her. Slight pause. I have no idea why we felt the need to get Sophie back for all this rather than Kyle. I mean, I guess when you're 13, that doesn't really, it doesn't all register through your head. But it was really both of their doing, in a way. But we decided that we wanted to get Sophie. My dad is a great accomplice. Jen and I both could not drive. Turns out, Sophie lives in the middle of
nowhere.
Like, it takes like 20 minutes to get to her house. So my dad, being the trooper that he is, we get into our black car, we're dressed in all black at 1 in the morning, and he drives us out to her house. We spend like 15 minutes once we get out there just making sure it's even her house. We see the basketball goal, we see the garage. We are
Locked and loaded.
with like 8 toilet paper rolls, and we use them all. We get her house so good. We roll it up on that basketball goal. We hit the lights on her garage. We threw it over the fence. She probably had a pool, like went into her pool. We got all of the trees. We left the toilet paper rolls on the doorstep. We were very ballsy, okay? Because it's 1 in the morning, but it was during the summer, so someone could have been up, okay? We then scurry back. It's like her house is completely white with toilet paper. We finally get in the car. Everything's fine. We drive off, and Jenna and I promised not to tell anyone this story, like, ever, or at least for a long, long time, because we don't want to get caught, because she has no real reason to suspect that it would be us. We didn't really want her to say anything necessarily, because we didn't want people to start asking questions, but over the next couple days, we kind of keep track of her social media and her Ask FM to see if she's, like, said anything about it, or having, like, oh my god, someone tweeted me, how annoying, and she never said anything about it. We never told anyone for literally years. Like, I was probably 15 or 16 by the time I told this story again. And I still think to this day, honestly, this Sophie has probably forgotten by now. And she would probably think now it was a really stupid reason for us to do it. So, yeah, I guess that is the story of how I became the real, true American Vandal or something. It's a fun memory, and it was a nice experience, like, for me and Jenna as friends, and so I don't really regret being, like, a rebel or whatever. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next Friday here on Donkey Vlogs.